Hi, I'm Caroline, and I've created a lot of things, but mostly I've created a life I love. Join me on my journey as a podcaster, business owner, and mom as I try to create all the things. Welcome to the Caroline Creates podcast. Hey everybody, happy Thursday. I had an episode planned today and didn't record it because I felt like the topic that I'm going to talk about today is a little bit more timely. We have been going through a lot at the Caroline Creates team. I feel like between the three of us, it's been a little nuts this past month, I would say, month and a half. And it was really kind of ironic because my husband and I were discussing some medical issues that nothing serious that have come up. And I got to thinking, I was like, I really don't have a plan in place, if there's an emergency and I can't work. And so we had a team meeting and we talked about it and we put a plan into place. And wouldn't you know it, the next week, it was like all hell broke loose and we had to put our plan into place and see if it actually worked. And it did work, but life was a little crazy. So it got me thinking, this is probably something that a lot of us just really don't think about. I mean, yeah, we get our wills in order and things like that, but what happens if you have an emergency? What happens with your podcast? So I thought I would kind of talk about some ways that we can prepare our businesses, our podcasts, ourselves for when an emergency arises. So the first thing I'm going to say, and I think I say this all the dang time, but you have got to work ahead. Now, I'm preaching to the choir here because I'm literally recording this episode 2 days before it's supposed to air, but you should be recording ahead, editing ahead. If you're doing the editing yourself, you should have a system where you are working ahead. Not only is this important for if something were to happen and you had to step away from your podcast, it could keep going. But this is also really important so you can plan, right? For marketing purposes, what if you want to go on vacation? All those kinds of things. And the way that we do that is that we batch. And so we will record multiple episodes in a day. And that way, even if they aren't edited, at least they're recorded and they're stockpiled and they can be edited and posted rather quickly. The other thing I would say is that you really need to have an organizational system in place. So we use Trello. I've harped on that a million bazillion times. But the great thing about that is if I had to step away for whatever reason, the other people that I work with would know what is going on with the podcast. They would easily be able to go figure it out, find whatever they needed to be able to find to keep things going. So that kind of brings me to my next point. You need to have somebody who knows the ins and outs of your filing, your file system, and your computer. For me, the first person that would be is my husband. The second person would be my assistant. Now, she doesn't have complete access to all of my files, but we have actually put a plan into place. So she has everybody's contact info. She has access to most of my Trello boards. So if she had to run things for a day, she totally could do it. It wouldn't be the easiest thing on the planet, but she still would be able to do it. And that's the whole key here, right? Is that if something happens and you have to step away, that somebody else can step in and kind of see what's going on and be able to kind of figure things out. Literally, as I'm recording this, my phone is going crazy pants. So I apologize, but I also kind of feel like that's just real life. So we're just going to go with the flow here. So, as far as my life goes and getting ready for an emergency, I'm having a really hard time with a couple of things. One is asking for help when I need it. So, we live away from family now, and we've got some things coming up that are going to involve me stepping away from work. And now there's an airplane flying by. This is hashtag real life recording, people. It's really hard for me to ask for help. We've been here since April. It's now August, and I've had a really hard time finding a babysitter. And so it's taking a lot of me to be okay, I need help. I need somebody to come here and help me out. So we're kind of working on that. I think having help is really, really important. I think the other thing too is just feeling like I'm not giving myself more than I can handle, like we've moved interviews, we've rearranged schedules, we've done things like that because when something does happen, like you need to be in the right frame of mind, and you're not going to be in the right frame of mind if you're trying to, do an interview, if you're trying to get some work done, that kind of thing. So like kind of clearing the schedule has been really important for me. I'm pretty stressed out about what's coming. Again, it's nothing major. I just don't want to say what it is on the podcast because it's not something that we are like advertising to the world, but I'm pretty stressed about what's going on. But knowing that, like, if I need to, I can have both of my assistants pick up the slack, knowing that I have family that will come here if I need them and help me out with my kids and my house is just huge. And it's taken a weight off because honestly, like the parts of it that have been the most stressful is like, okay, well, what's going to happen with this? And who's going to take care of the kids? And what if I can't get to an episode to edit that day? Like having people is so key. And I'm not saying that you need to go hire an assistant. I'm just saying like maybe show your best friend your Trello board and say, hey, everything is scheduled for the next 4 weeks. But if something happens, I might need you to just come look here and help me out for a second. That's all you need to do. Oh gosh, emergencies they can be really frustrating because obviously they're unplanned. That's why they're called emergencies. I think one of my biggest pieces of encouragement is, if you have something happen and a podcast episode cannot get published that week, who cares? Seriously, who cares? Life happens, things happen, and your listeners will understand. And until you can come back and explain it, that's just fine. Post a update on Instagram. Do a simple blog post that says, hey, I've got stuff going on. There's not going to be a podcast episode for a few weeks. It's not the end of the world. And I think sometimes we put all this pressure on ourselves that we have to produce week after week after week after week, when in fact, our listeners, because they like us, and they want to hear us, they're going to understand. If you feel like I can't possibly go a week without an episode, then I would also suggest maybe doing some reruns, or we call them throwback episodes. You can call them reruns or rewinds. Replay an old past episode that was really popular when you first started, record a little intro for it, and you can just do that. But like if you cannot get to your computer, you don't need to stress about it, because when you're going through something, the thing that you need to do the most is take care of yourself and your family, and the podcast should come last in that scenario. I literally do not know if I will have an episode next week or the week after that. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. I am not going to pressure myself because I know that there are way more important things. And so that would just be my encouragement to you guys, is to, don't put so much pressure on yourself and really prioritize what is important and what needs to happen when you have something in your life go amok. So let's just recap. I think having an organizational system, working ahead, and having at least one person who can access some of your things if you need it, those are the things that I would do. And we've actually written this down in our company manual. Yes, I have a company manual. In my company manual, this is actually like a system that's written down. And that way, if it happens, they can just, my assistant or my other assistant or even myself can just open that, see what the protocol is, and move forward. But again, like number one, you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of your family. And if you go a week without an episode, it's no big deal. I really hope this information helps you kind of think about what you need to do or what you would do. What else is going on in the world? Jeez, oh Pete's. So I have another podcast called Creative Biz Rebellion, and we've got a lot of amazing things going on with that right now. So if you want to go check that out, please do. My free course, Find Your Voice and Confidence as a Podcaster, is available to you. You can just go to my website and you will see it directly on the homepage, and I really hope that you will go and take that, and then it helps you gain the confidence you need to move forward with your podcast. I have a lot of really exciting things coming up this month, hopefully, but again, with some unexpected things that have come up in our family and our health, I am not sure that it's going to quite happen, but the best way to be in the know is to join my newsletter. I will be releasing a course soon on how to launch your podcast. So be on the lookout for that. And I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And if you listen to this, would you please let me know, DM me on Instagram, leave me a review so I know who you are. I'd love to check out your podcast. I'd love to hear what you're working on. All right. Bye, guys. Before you go, please head to Apple Podcasts and leave me a review. I would love to hear from you. And to learn more about me and follow along my journey, head to www.carolinecreates.com. There you can also listen to episodes, watch YouTube videos, and find out more about my podcasting services. Thanks so much. Have a great day.